All right. Uh,
All right. Well, we're on live.
yeah, we are. We are while Charlie's troubleshooting.
Okay. Well, this is the part where I always just like to get going and do things. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. It's about that time. This will be the last show before we get ready to say that to you. So we want to be able to do that. We got a very interesting show tonight. Be patient with us right now as Coach Williams is working on his camera and his sound a little bit with us. We like to troubleshoot live right here because we are real. We're human and we just do things uh, the Teagues take way. All right. And so we shoot straight from the hip all the time. So we're going to talk about the portal a little bit today. We got to hit a little bit on Alabama and what has happened today. Not too much because I don't want to bore Coach Williams with all Alabama talk, but he got an opinion on that because he's an SMU fan and he think I don't know. I think he thinks they're supposed to be in the in the college playoffs or whatever. But we'll ask him about that. We just got to ask him a whole lot about the differences. How's the portal? How's it changed things? What about these rankings of the portal players? How do they actually do that now? How important are certain things for recruitment? Kids highlight reels, those kind of things. We can really educate us on this. And of course, it will slide in just a little bit of some of these guys that we got today and try to figure out, what it means for Alabama when you have big time people like LT Overton, leaving Texas A&M to come to us. So it's uh it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Then we're going to actually show some film. We got some Georgia clips from the SEC championship. Some good, some bad. Um, So make sure you stick with us. But we're gonna go ahead and get this thing kicked off. If JT got his button ready,
Uh,
uh,
yeah, go ahead.
all right. So Teague's take officially starts right now. Okay, well here we are on this Wednesday. Obviously, you can tell I'm not at the Lantern. I'm not at the bar tonight. I wanted to be able to stay home over these holidays and just sit in the comfort of my little chair here and be able to talk to you guys about all things Alabama and beyond. Again, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope that you guys spend some time with your family and do things. And understand this is a sometimes a difficult time for people as well. Because Swell and I had some instances today. As a matter of fact, both of us at both of our jobs where it's kind of sad to some people. They don't have all the things that we have. Maybe they're out of work. They're trying to get things for their kids, or their grandkids, or for themselves. So we just ask that you keep people in your prayers and understand that as fortunate as we may be to be able to sit here and do these kind of things, everybody isn't. So I want to wish everybody uh, a Merry Christmas. Looking forward to spending some time with my grandkids and the family. And hello to everybody in the chat. We appreciate it. Okay, so the first one I need to bring in is my son, the honorable one, the analytical one, Mr. James Theo T. the second. Yeah. I wanted to tell him again that as much as I was just saying that we got to be kind to people, I think he mistreated me a little bit today. I'm going to explain why because he's probably trying to figure out why. Because he does this all the time, right? So I am his athletic director. I'm not just his dad, but I am his athletic director. And I got wind from some sources at school today while I was there that you were in the building, didn't swing by the office, give a text, drop off some cookies or nothing. Can you
Some
explain to
cookies.
everybody why? I don't know anything. I know you like cookies. You probably got extra bags all in your
Yeah,
trunk.
so why would I bring you some
Mm.
cookies? They're mine.
Okay, well, why would you just drop in and be like, "Hey, man, peace," I'll see you later tonight. Anything, something.
Because I was going to see you right now. You probably weren't even in there.
Yeah, yeah, I was. So that's the poll we need to put up. Should JT have came by and said
I'm
hello
not. I'm
to
not
his
interested.
pops
What
or
I'm
not?
not interested in hearing at all what chat has to think about in this in this instance.
Well, why not? Because you know which way it's gonna go.
No,
It's good to
because
see you,
nope.
Joan Hart.
I'm not interested.
Well, okay. Well, I'm just saying. I think that was kind of bad because the guest that we have wouldn't have done that. He's been around me for a while. He did play football at SMU. He's coached with both of us as offensive line coach, defensive line coach, ran our JV teams at Carrollton Christian Academy, did some work for us at Shelton and at JP2. He's always helped me get kids to be placed in college. So, like a college recruitment, as in, yeah, college recruitment officer. So, this gentleman got a lot of passion for it because I don't know if I ever bought these cell phones from him too, because he was in the cell phone business too.
Yeah,
Did you
he
know that,
was. Well,
JT?
he was
No.
also in the internet game. He was doing.
Yeah, man.
He worked for Spectrum there for a minute.
So, jack of all trades, my man, he is now at UNLV as the offensive quality control and recruiting analyst. Mr. Charlie Williams, let's bring him in and see if we can hear him, see him. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. You got any Can you hear us?
Yeah, but we can't hear him.
We can't hear
I'm
you
gonna switch
still,
his
brother.
microphone. I'll try to refresh it.
Yeah, don't
Um,
touch anything.
but no, I don't. Can't hear him right now.
What about now?
There it is.
Yep,
There
there it
we
is.
go. Okay.
You just on mute, wasn't you? Man,
Nah, nah, just for some reason wasn't connecting.
all right. Well, we're extremely glad to have you on, brother. Miss seeing you. I'm checking out the red and the black right there to kind of see if if I'm liking that on you or whatnot. I don't know, man. I don't know. You
Look,
know.
hey, I'm loving it. I might have something for you though.
Okay, okay. Well, then I love it too. Then yes, too. I love it too. Then why don't you tell us what you do, what your role is at the school now? How you know
Um,
daily work. What do you got going on?
that's a lot. Primarily, drawing scout cards for the the opposing team, preparing the offense each and every day. Input all data. So like we used to do on Huddle, we use XOs. We just come in and put in all the plays we call through our practice and make sure we tag it correctly. Other than that, recruiting, of course, hitting these kids up, reaching out, trying to get them interested in UNLV, setting up visits, the whole nine. But honestly, whatever position coaches or the offensive coordinator asks, we're trying to do from drawing plays, installing plays, connecting with the kids. And I'm primarily in the tight end room, so of course connecting with those guys, making sure they're up to par, make sure they know all their plays and things like that. And every Sunday is game plan day, so we go and talk about the opponent. I do write ups for the defensive line and linebacker, so I kind of watch film on the opposing team and find their weaknesses, their strengths, and talk about it and present that on Sundays. And then Mondays you like got install, your walkthrough, kind of getting the introduction to the game week, and then Tuesdays it's full padded practices. We go from there, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, we got our either travel day, or if it's at home, we go to a team hotel and get set up and get ready, go through all of our meetings, and then Saturday we kick it off, and kind of that's pretty much it.
Okay, but so what about the? And I know that's a grind, and that you up there. He kind of summed that up kind of fast, but the amount of hours that actually takes, and he's probably there before everybody and
Uh,
there after each other too. So, but I want to ask you too about on your recruiting side, because you always had all the knowledge, helping us get kids to college. Um, breaking down film, huddle, helping them make highlight tapes and all that kind of stuff. What about this piece now that you're on the other side? Um, what do you have to do to analyze, I guess, players?
So we have our grading system that we use, like a chart. And I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, we had a chance to speak with a coach from Colorado and go through the grading system and ranking, kids, and from speed, agility, height, and so many points. Say he's an offer kid. Some coaches can tell by the eye test. They can turn the film on and say, "Hey, okay, he's an offer kid." And so, but one of the things that I took from now, I know what to look for. As before, I thought I had an idea. I was like, okay, I'm gonna create this highlight for you, and I know they're only gonna watch 2 minutes. It's really watching 2 minutes of film and really trying to gauge on what a kid can do, right? How he fit in your offense. And so we go in every Friday. We have a home game. We do recruiting, and so basically what we do is we have a list of guys. If I'm helping quarterbacks that Friday or running backs, whatever the case may be, we're gonna go in and take notes as a staff and write down the traits. Can he fit? Can he throw? How's his release? Can he run? How does he relate to the offense? And so it's almost the exact same preparing, and so you can send it off to a college coach to review. And so I think I was kind of, I want to say, I guess, ahead of the curve because we made sure everything was on point before we sent it, and then of course we had to have the grades and so I was able to bring that, I would say, to UNLV or have some knowledge. And so I wasn't far off, honestly. It's just the way I watch film now is a bit different. And that's
Mhm.
pretty much it.
Well, okay, then so let's get into specifics with this. So one of the things, and I don't know how much you actually, and it will be interesting to hear to really talk about once now you're in recruiting season, the high school side versus the transfer side, because and just correct me or just give us the right information on the number of scholarships and how that's actually broken down per whether they're transferring or whether or not they're coming out of high school.
Yeah. So I start with the high school kids. High school kids, you go and watch film and you have them ranked. Is he a kid who can come in and make an impact right away? Is he going to be a player after redshirting? Is he a kid as a, you know, you rank him, is he a kid that may be ready in 2 or 3 years, or is he not an offer kid? And you want to see somebody, the guys that, especially with the guys that you offer from high school, you think they can come in and contribute, whether it be special teams or maybe they are in the two deep. Those ones probably get the offers. I would say you have every school has around 25. So you got roster management with that. Who's leaving, who's going to try to transfer out. Uh, who are you going to try to encourage to transfer? And if I'm being honest, and then from the portal guys, everybody uses PFF now, and so that's where you can go watch their film and really get a deep dive about a transfer kid because have they played before? What conference did they play in? What teams did they play against? And that's kind of sort of similar to high school in an aspect of what division or what district did they come from? Did they play against a lot of teams that wasn't that good? Man, he looks really good, or did he play in a good district? So we use that, engage that, and we watch film on the transfer kids, and then we kind of deep dive and see if they have any issues or why are they looking to leave? Did they get in any trouble at this school? And so that's probably the biggest difference from it all where we watch film at, and then we can kind of gain more information on a transfer kid than a high school kid because the information's out there on the internet and so much easier. But then, of course, transfer guys are guys you're looking to come in and play right away, right? Their immediate needs. Okay, he played for such and such university in this conference. You can kind of gauge. Okay, he fast because he's separating from college kids, right? Or he's that's a tight end or offensive lineman. You see him moving defensive lineman at the college level. It's like, okay, we definitely want to go from there. And we kind of have a database and list we go through. And for me, with tight ends, I create a list of tight ends in the portal. So I go to PFF and I make a database, all the tight ends in the portal that were like height wise, size wise, and then I present them to the tight end coach. So
Oh,
he can
when
just
you say PFF,
So
you
can you
not
tell us what
talking,
PFF
yeah,
Pro Football Focus?
yeah, because I was gonna say
What
it
is
ain't pro
what
pro
is
football
PFS?
focus. That's something else.
Pro Football Focus in the ultimate version versus the where people go for fantasy. So Pro Football Focus Ultimate, and you can watch film on pretty much any kid from any division.
Is
Um,
that something you guys only have access to? This is a paid service that colleges or is this something out there that the I could go sign up for?
so you can, if you get a license, you probably can get a PFF. So we do pay for it. And everybody kind of got their log in and go from there. So you could pay the yearly subscription if you wanted to go do that and watch all the film on all kids. It's the all 22 film, so you can see everything. You
Oh,
see,
well, see, that's
That's
what
where
we
we can't
need.
find it.
Yeah.
Well, can't find it. But anyway, yeah, I
Well,
go
I'm
try
about
to
to
find it.
look while y'all
But I
talking.
guess maybe I didn't have that ultimate word in there, PFF
yeah.
ultimate. Maybe that's why I could never find it, because that would make us a whole lot better on Teague's Take if I actually had that kind of stuff to go back instead of me trying to watch film on YouTube
Oh, well. So I went
all
to
the time.
I went there.
Ten
Yeah, I don't.
thousand dollars.
No, I don't know where to. It took me to the login page, but I don't know where to get a license from. So,
You log in, try to create an account, it'll take you there. But maybe we can talk offline about that
all
one.
right.
All right, we're good. We're good. Thank you. It's always good to know people, man. Okay, and so you were talking about this, trying to find your tight ends
Hmm.
in the portal. Okay, um, you how do you guys rank them? So, for instance, and I want to call this guy's name because, like I say, we're really excited about LT Overton coming to Alabama from Texas A&M, coming over. I know you like them linemen too, and you like all the stuff that's going up front, you know, and that's going to make us tremendously better. It's probably also going to make it to where people start following him or doing different things. Who knows what's going to happen to all of A&M? But my question is not necessarily about him. It's about now, how much more difficult is it for you guys, or when you're, so there's two parts. One, I'm reading, it says, hey, Overton is the number 2 defensive lineman in the portal, blah, blah, blah. Who ranks them? Who's doing this now? JT's kind of giving me a hint about it, but I kind of want to see how you guys do that as coaches. And then if there are, I can't even imagine how many defensive linemen are in the portal or how many tight ends are in the portal, but how many of them are you actually going to look at, and how do you know where to even start?
So we can use Pro Football Focus Ultimate for that as well. So you can see the PFF grades, right, and kind of get a ranking on that. And then you can go through and say we got a legit shot maybe to go with this one, or okay, I'm not gonna waste my time on a kid that's coming from a Texas A&M, or you can know you have a chance to get who you should go after. But from there, but PFF has categories. So say I know we're looking for a tight end who can block at the point of attack. That allows me to go look at all his film and point of attack, and they grade it. Say he's graded out 67% for the season. I'm gonna go get him and look at him versus somebody who graded out at 39%. And you can rank them from that based on what you're looking for. That's why I love the website so much, because anything you're looking for, you can find based on what you're looking for. Uh, what's the percentage of him, his targets attached, to the line of scrimmage, or is he flexed out? How good was he flexed out? If we want tight end that flexes out, then I'm gonna look at and rank those by the PFF grades, and then go watch the film. I may watch 30 kids and say, okay, here are the top 10, and then put those in order, and then save them to a file, and then give it to the tight ends coach to look at. So it's the same process with the defensive line. Try to find the highest graded one on what you're based on what you're looking for. From pass rush moves. How often does he get off blocks? How often does he stay blocked? Can he split the double team, or hold his gap versus the double team? All those percentages are in there, so you can go through and look at each individual thing. It has something called quick key video, and say throughout the season they may have 25 snaps on that one specific thing. You watch that and say, okay, this guy fits in our defense or our offense, and then you rank them from there. Use the grades to find a 10 you like, and then rank them according to their grades, and then you send those off.
Hey man, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out who the hell watches all this shit, because they do the same thing in the pros or whatever. They got all the data about everything. Who the hell is watching all this college film and actually looking at every dude and trying to grade? I mean, there's got to be like a bazillion people out there that someone trusts
Mhm.
to put in here. And
So that's kind of what I was thinking. Was my question is, are there certain stats in there that you look at and you're like, which ones, if any, do you take with just like a grain of salt? Because what I'm thinking of is like specifically with defensive backs. It's like, how many times was he targeted versus, how many catches did he allow? And, you're looking at a lot of times it's like, yeah, he's in the frame and it looks like it's his fault, but it ain't his fault. He's covering for somebody else. So is there anything in there that you're like, okay, these are objectively true stats? Like I know they're pretty spot on with this one, and then other ones you're like, they're close enough, but it probably ain't that accurate. It ain't, if it's above 60%, okay, well that's good enough.
Right. So I'll tell you something that's very tricky is make sure you look at the snap count, right? Because say somebody has a high PFF grade, then you look, oh, they're not the starter. Oh, they only got 39 snaps. Okay, well, they look good in those 39 snaps. They got this high grade, but they haven't really played much. So it's a little like, okay, you don't have much film. Versus a DB who's probably had 500 snaps on the season. I'm able to go and look at, passing completion rate versus him versus man and zone. How many explosive plays did he give up? How many touchdowns did he give up? What's the QBR versus him? So every detail is in there. If he has missed assignments, you're able to see that.
But see that right there is what I'm trying to figure out is like, how do they know that he missed an assignment?
So they have something called play diagram. So say they're playing Tampa 2, okay, in the corner, he's bailing, and then somebody throws in the flats, and he doesn't even come up and defend the flat area. You put the play diagram with it, and they said they call Tampa 2, but this is what he played, so he gets a negative grade on that. Same thing with the offense. They have the play diagram. How they get the playbook, that part I don't.
Because again, each thing you give me, I'm just like, yo, like what? Who is feeding the? Yeah, well, they call this play right here. Y'all got a mole in the. Y'all got somebody that's that they pan to chart, and it's like, hey man, just send me the play sheet and send me the book so I know what's going on and what y'all supposed to be doing.
Match it up. So if they're playing cover 3, the weak or strong, whatever the case may be, you can see everybody else doing the right thing. It's like, okay, this guy here messed up the coverage, and then you see okay, he really did. It was supposed to be cover 3, and he played he was in the wrong zone, or whatever the case may be. They're playing quarters where it's really man and match, and the guys come off and take the corner out, and then here goes the post behind him, and he didn't go with him, and now he's wide open. You see the safety and DB arguing back and forth. Hey, that was your man. You can tell, okay, that was
quarter. That never happens. We never do that. We never point fingers at anybody. What are you talking about, man? So, JT, this sounds like something I want to show you. I haven't done it. I don't think I did, but I do have this. It sounds very much like what Coach Williams is describing to us that we're going to use for National Football League now, that I can go into every team and look at all the stuff. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because we're talking about defensive backs, and it actually has in there, like the way they say it is he was closest to the completion 30% of the time or whatever it was, which doesn't mean it was his man. So it's not quite as far as where, it doesn't say a mistake, like what you're saying, that you could be the safety who broke out of the middle of the field and came over and got really close to the guy. And if it completed it, you basically would get a negative mark because you were closest to the completion. So it looked like what I'm looking at. I have to now do what Coach Williams has said and say, okay, whose fault is that, except it doesn't have a play diagram? I got to actually click on the link and actually watch the 30 plays or whatever it is. So anyway, I know you'd be interested in it because it has a lot of stuff like that. Insights, particular players, how fast he gets off the ball. I mean, there's so much stuff, man. There's too much for me to use as an analyst, because then there's so much good information, but like you said, it can be overload because it's like, oh, well, he also did this or didn't do that, and in this situation is this and that. So I don't know how much time they spend on that stuff.
I'll tell you how much time I did doing efficiency stats on my defense this year at the end of the season, and it was like 1 hour. And after that, I was like, that is enough.
Well, your stipend's not quite the same as what they're making in college either. Okay. All right. So the portal then. How do you what happens, Coach Williams? How do they get in the portal? What are those conversations? Have you been around those when the kids getting ready to go in? Are these like nervous conversations, or do they got agents now coming in like, hey, we dipping? I mean, how does this work?
Well, I guess twofold. You got those kids, like you said, you're encouraging them to go into the portal, right? You got 1 year left, but you really haven't played. Go sit down with the head coach, or the position coach, and have that conversation. I haven't been in the room when they had those.
No, I was gonna ask how, like, what is the tone, and how do you kind of deliver that news? If you had to do it, what are you saying? Just like, hey man, uh, portal's open today.
It's been
Here's the
fun.
list. Here's the address to the compliance office.
You got all these sticky notes on the desk and in a chair to say portal on it. What is
Or
going
you just go in there, you hand them a trash bag, go like this, take this to your locker.
Oh, you want to be prepared, and that's something I would do. So, say, just for instance, have a tight end we want to send to the portal. Okay, go find me all his targets, find me majority of the film from all the season, practices and all. Go find missed assignments. So when the position coach is talking to him, now you got film to present. Like we're trying to pretty much upgrade, you know, and wish you the best. But at least you got facts and proof to back it up with film and everything
Mhm.
else. Right. So you're just not saying
are you gonna give them their film? So this was
down.
one of our guys. Are you gonna help them? If you're I guess there's two folds. If you're asking them to leave, are you saying, hey man, we're showing you this one. Thank you for all your time, but we're gonna give you a recommendation. I'm thinking like a job. When you find, hey man, it's good, but have them call me and I'll give them a good word, or what. What are you doing with them? Are you making a highlight reel for them, or is the kid just kind of left on his own to try to go scrap up some tape? And
I would say with our head coach, who's like very personable, family man, he'd probably try to more than likely he's going to try to help them find a school, right? And then you have then you have those kids who I'm going in the portal. I ain't playing. I'm unhappy. I want to go to the portal. They're probably already downloading film and watching their film. Recording with their phone so they can go out and kind of promote themselves. And that conversation is like, I'm gonna go to the head coach and hey, I want to let you know I'm hitting the portal. And then of course you get your letter from email from compliance that hey, you're officially in the portal. And so that's a different conversation. Then you got those kids who having great seasons that other schools probably trying to convince to go into the portal, via agents, those uncles or whatever the case may be. And that's probably gonna be a whole totally different conversation. Because now probably dealing with, how can we keep you here, And so that's a different conversation. But you pretty much know those who are going to hit the portal, especially if they've been on scout team all year. Probably don't see themselves getting on the active roster. They're usually loud about it, and I'm going to the portal at the end of the season. And so those you don't, I guess you say you don't mind losing, right? Especially don't any negativity on the team, especially when you got a great season. Keep the positive, good players around. And so I think
so,
every conversation is different.
well, first of all, JT, I think you'd be kind of interested. 'Cause I'm saying this, I'm being snarky here because I can't imagine what the portal looks like. If there's 50, I don't even know what that spreadsheet looks like or what that is, but I'm sure you probably can design something, JT, on the back end where you can kind of populate names and people and places and stuff. And it might be that easy. I don't know, but it just seems like it would be a nightmare for me to try to find 1,500 kids in a transfer portal who's really good and who isn't. Um, so I don't. It would be interesting to see. So, Coach Williams, what is the real percentage of kids who actually make it to
Find
another
a new
team?
spot.
Yeah, what is the real percentage?
That is, if I had a number, wish I had a number, but I would tell you it's probably extremely low. And it's only skewed that way because you got so many kids who they're at D3 schools going into the portal, or Division 2 schools, or JUCO schools, or whatever. They just went to NAIA, and you're going into the portal. And those who
Because
they
they try to go up or they try to go to another NAIA.
go up for the most part. Um, so you have those kids in there. But most time you see the Power 5 guys or Division 1 guys, they're looking for either playing time. So some of them can accept that fact. Okay, I need to go down to the level, maybe FCS or Division 2 and play. Or like I say, most guys are trying to go to bigger divisions to show they can play. So I think the numbers on it is pretty low. It's huge. And a follow up question or a question you had before that previous on PFF Pro Football Focus, you can hit transfer portal, and it pull up everybody. You can just sort it by position, so it's all there for you if you ever want to, take a look at it and do it that way.
Okay. So we got about 5 more minutes with him. A couple more minutes. I know we started a little bit late, and we got to get to some film, Coach. Um, so the other piece that I guess I'm interested in is what, because you're dealing with this now too, right? Okay, so what, help us with the process of maybe what happens for a kid now that is trying to get to the pros, you know, what do you got? The scouts come in? Are they watching film? Are they just asking questions? What, I mean, how does
So
that process really work for those guys in college now?
yeah, and I'll use one of our own kids, Donovan Lester. Right, he's getting ready to declare for the draft, and but throughout every week you see scouts there. They're lined up at practice. They're watching practice. They're taking notes. After practice, they're in a room watching film. Watching everything from practice to games, going back at least 2 years watching tape on you if you have it. They're talking with the trainers and the doctors about injuries, trying to do their deep dive on you, asking questions about, just any and everything about a kid that they're interested in, who they think can play at the next level. Um, so they're usually there, let's say, sometimes 5 to 6 hours from
Mm.
practice, to after practice, post practice, watching film, um, and then they go around asking their questions about a certain kid. And so that typically we saw it throughout the season. We would have at least 10 or 12, scouts there from different teams every practice, and so that's exactly what they would do. They would just, like I said, come to practice and then go lock themselves in a room and just watch film.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it's not crazy. It's good, but it's a reminder that you got to be on your game in practice.
Every day.
And, I mean, because you think that guy's standing over there in the Colts shirt because he's a fan or something, but he's might be with the organization
Right.
and just putting eyeballs on you.
Wait, so let me ask this. Do you know for a fact they scouts? Or is it some of y'all coaches out there just with the Colts thing on?
Right.
You got we done hired a couple of analysts out here and they just gonna stand here with these different teams on just so that you act right and do what you're supposed to do in practice. You really only got two or three scouts, but is 18 of y'all standing out there.
Now they're well, for our practice, they're all scouts because we have on our, you have your sheet, your practice sheet that you guys have, I'm sure. So it has who the visitors are, who's coming. So we already
Mm.
know they're there, right? So we have our visitor list, and so when they come out, we know they're there. But you can tell they're scouts, right? Everybody knows everybody, especially in our building. You will know who the analyst, every coach is. It's not as huge as a staff like Alabama's, where it's so many coaches.
I think you mean Florida, who's got more coaches than they do players.
Hmm.
Man, yeah, they got a ton. And so
So go ahead.
and you can tell they got all their gear on. Like, if they work for the Colts or the Cowboys, well, they're proud of that. They're gonna wear all their gear.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's pretty. I don't know. It sounds cool, man. It's fun, and I thank you for doing this. I could talk about this for a whole show, JT, honestly, because I just think there's so
Mm-hmm.
many pieces to it. So I think I want to. My last question, and then maybe can JT maybe can if he wants to ask one. But this will be my last one because we're both in the high school arena still, JT and I. And thank you again for your service for working with us and helping us to get to where we are with John Paul II High School and all the other schools we've been at. But what does this do now? The portal, and I know you can't just dive into it, but what has the portal done to high school recruiting? For that kid, what are you telling a high school kid now? Do they need to just get in the because sometimes it just seems like they just need to get in somewhere and then try to work their way up because so my short answer is does the portal really take away that many high school at a division 1 level that many high school scholarships as we think it may be happening when I'm sitting in my office.
I'm gonna say yes. It's tough for the high school kid. Unless you're that top kid that like I said, fits what you want. Like, okay, this kid can be a contributor right away. He's an offer kid. Let's offer him. And if he go ahead and commit, he has that spot, right? But for the most part, if you can find a portal kid who's already been in a weight program, training program, and they got great film against college competition, you're probably gonna value that more than a high school kid. And so it really does. And it really every program I would say is different because you have I want to take this many people from the portal because you can't build your entire roster off portal guys. It wouldn't last. It would break. So you want to have the guys that you can coach and
That's true.
have for 4 or 5 seasons, but you also want to have some immediate needs that you can take. And so that does take away from some scholarships that you would have for your normal high school kids because you need these immediate needs from the portal kids. And so it really just depends on how many you want to take. And every staff, I'm sure, has that conversation in the war room, in the recruiting room. So, okay, let's take these 5 from the portal. This is what we need immediate. And then the rest may be high school. If you can't find what you want in high school, then you probably go to the portal. If you're not happy with the portal and the kids you see, you may recruit a high school kid. And so it just really depends on your needs, wants, what you're based on, what you're looking at. And you kind of just go from there. But it does affect high school recruiting. And it really affects junior college more than anything. Most of the time they have 2 years left. Or maybe one, it depends if they already transferred from a Division 1 to a junior college and now they're trying to transfer back out and find a school. Then you go to junior college route. So you have to deal with that as well. And so it really affects junior college more than high school. At least if you have a high school kid, you got 3 or 4 years to develop him. If a guy hitting the portal, unless he's a 1-year rental from the portal, he's played 3 years somewhere else and then he's graduated. He's looking to move up a division, but he's had like great stats. Then you may take that 1-year rental because you need him. So it's really just based on need, honestly. But it really does affect high school and junior college, and when it comes to scholarships.
Okay. Well, JT, you got anything else for him? We let him go.
So do you see are you speaking on that from like division or FBS, but not necessarily lower FCS 2, 3, and NAIA? Would you say that maybe those are much less affected?
I would say, yeah, they're less affected. Maybe not FCS because FCS guys are waiting for those FBS guys to kid the portal. Oh, you don't have a home. You can still play Division 1 and come to FCS. You only drop down a level, but you're still Division 1, right? So you see a lot of Division 2 programs get a lot of a lot of great high school talent because they don't have a home. So it really doesn't affect, say, Division 2, Division 3, or NAIA. They benefit from it because now they're getting a lot of kids who probably would have went to a bigger school, but they didn't have a home. So now they have to come down and play, at Division 2, which is great football, by the way, because there's a lot of great schools, Division 2, Division 3.
And you just made that sound like someone need to be trying to build that that Division 2 powerhouse and start going to knock off some FCS schools. Just go get these top recruits that are mad because they ain't land somewhere. But anyway, this is good to hear that. University of Alabama got. I think they got 19, at least 19 that are straight out of high school. Could be higher than that with not very many transfers in today. It is interesting though how many of them are actually there and already starting to practice. 19 of them that are early signees that are already there. It's kind of crazy. It's weird to me, but okay. Well, Coach Williams, why don't you tell everybody how they can find you, follow you? I know you do social media and things, so tell us where we can find you at.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Coach Williams II. Um, Pretty active on Twitter more than anything else nowadays. Kind of live on Twitter because that's where all the kids are as far as dealing with recruiting and things that's going on in the industry. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Coach Williams II. I really appreciate y'all having me on. I really appreciate you for everything from CCA to Shelton, jump ball, man. It was a wonderful ride and it really helped me in my career, learning so much from you and the staff that you put together. I mean, it was wonderful. And so I really know that it really prepared me for where I'm at now. So I really appreciate you and appreciate you having me on the show.
No, I thank you, man. And JT said you can show him some appreciation by sending him a bottle of Crown and sending me a bottle of some of that Ciroc.
I know you can
You
show me
know.
appreciation by trying to figure out how we can get one of these licenses. That's
All right, that's off the air, man. We ain't talking about that no more. We ain't talking about that no more. So anyway, man, we do thank you. We're gonna round of applause for this dude one more time, JT. Really. Yeah, man. Coach Williams getting jiggy with it. So,
Love it.
all right, man. Well, you have a good day because it's probably still sunlight out there for you on the West Coast. And I don't know if you saw Joan
he's
Hart.
mountain time. You mountain time, ain't you?
Nah, Pacific. I'm out here. I'm 2
Oh,
hours
yeah.
behind.
Yeah, so Joan Hart saying hello to you too as well. We saw that, so we miss her as well. All right, well, let's go ahead and let our guests go, and we're gonna go ahead and move into some film. JT, if you're ready to get it on, I think that's pretty amazing. You know, just to hear some of his talking, like I think I could talk to him a lot about that stuff. Just
Yeah, so we do. I guess you got to give your disclaimer because we did get a couple of questions, like what's your take on Drake Kirkpatrick Jr.?
Okay.
He's one of the stars of the recruiting class. There's another one in here somewhere. Did we think Ryan Williams was going to flip? And do you think Tristan Jernigan flips to Alabama?
Okay. So yes, these are all tremendous questions, and I do have to say and be honest with you guys about this, right? So the process of where we're at with Teague's Teague today and during the football season, our takes are usually on the current game. I know there's no game right now, but we're still trying to prepare for what's going to go into the bowl game and all those kind of things. So we're not really watching film or having very many opinions on recruits. I apologize for that. There are a lot of other people that can do that. The Bama Standard, for one, our good friends, they are always up to date on what's going on in the recruiting world, being able to talk on those pieces. That's just a different angle that we don't currently do. So, what we are going to do that we want you guys to be aware of that after we win the national championship, uh, we will then flip to that piece because there won't be much. And where we're showing film of current games, we'll go in and start analyzing players, especially if we can get part of this film stuff and try to figure out. So this all 22 stuff that we will start breaking down recruits. How do they fit into Alabama schemes? Those kind of things. So we are not there yet. Um, so I apologize for that. We're current. Okay. So um regarding the I do want to say something about the Drake Kirkpatrick um Jr. piece. JT watched a little bit of film on him. It looked like he's a big hitter and all that kind of stuff. But
He reminds me of Jalen Key.
okay. Uh, and I have no issue with that at all. Um what was interesting to me about this was that I was listening to Coach Saban talk about this, and I did not realize that Drake Kirkpatrick was the first legacy player uh, to come into Bama under Nick Saban. That kind of struck me. Kind of, I don't know. It didn't make me feel bad or anything. It just was. It shocked me. Legacy player means your dad played at the school um, as well, and we were kind of wondering on why that hadn't happened. Why we hadn't had more people. And I don't know, JT. I don't know how you feel about it. If you got an opinion one way or another, I just know a lot of the guys from my area they didn't go to. Most of their kids weren't coming to Bama. They were going to play for
Well, so
Taboo.
I'll say this specifically with Drake Kirkpatrick. I think the reason that there's not a lot of legacy kids um, generally right now is because most of those kids are not old enough. Drake Kirkpatrick was at Alabama recent enough ago to where I remember it like vividly, like 2010, 2011. Um, so I think Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. was um, one of the early. He's probably one of the older legacy kids. So I think there's an opportunity to be more. I think that there's a lot of the guys from 2007. I don't know if Julio has kids, but like that Julio, Mark Ingram, however old their kids are probably the average oldest level. I think Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. is especially older. He's one actually coming out of high school. I don't know that most players so far got kids that age.
See, yeah, and I probably confused everybody with that. And when I was thinking of legacy, I wasn't only thinking of legacy people that actually played with Saban. It could have been the ones who were there and whatever. When did he show up? When did Saban come? 2007.
7.
So the 04, 05, 03 to any of those guys that might have played
Mhm.
there didn't play for Saban. They're old enough that they probably could have some kids that are
Yeah.
of age, and maybe they're just not good enough. I don't know. But it's kind of interesting to see. But neither here nor there. Um, I think we need to get to a little bit of film. Try to run through these a little bit if we can, brother.
Yeah. All right. Let me find the scene. Here we go.
Okay, so for those of
So,
y'all that are listening, go ahead.
oh,
You got it.
well, you're right. I need to do that first. For those of you listening on the podcast, your website, podcast, or whatever it is, go find us on YouTube, live.teagsec.com, and come back and watch films so you see what we're talking about. Because if you don't, none of this is going to make sense to you because we're not very good at conveying the film via words. Maybe we got to get some radio training. So with that, we'll see y'all later. And those of you that are here watching us on YouTube,
Yeah.
thanks. So we're going to get into the film. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the big black boxes. I'm really trying to protect our channel and Justin's channel from getting these copyright strikes. So the logos who shall not be named are behind these giant boxes. So we'll have to deal with that for right now. But this should be play 1. I think. Our
This is
videos.
3.
Oh, this is 3.
It's okay though.
Oh no, I got them all in order. Here we go. 2nd and 7. That's right.
All right. Okay, so this is the actual touchdown run, I believe. Right.
Oh,
So
yeah, I knew I was forgetting something
what?
because I had some diagrams. But that's okay. Keep talking. I might be able to find them real quick.
To draw on here. All right, so this is one of the not so good plays. We are going to show some good, but this is the not so good play. This is a running play, and so when we're looking ahead to what does Michigan do? How do they run the ball? How important is gap control? This was one that I wanted to show, not because it's like terrible, but how JT, how close you really got to be just with your head on one side or not. Just the
Mm-hmm.
small pieces can turn into a huge play if you're just a little bit out of position. So when we're talking about game of inches, that doesn't necessarily just mean by like yard line. I think it's game of inches of how far you push somebody away from you or is your head on the correct side. Um, and whatnot. So this play is actually going up towards the top of the screen, I believe, if I'm right. And our defensive end at the top actually does a pretty good job. What I want to focus on is what happens with the linebacker. So we got a blitzing linebacker at the top. I don't know if JT can actually
Yeah,
draw
hold
this
on.
thing or not.
I'm determined to get these these diagrams in for the audience. All right.
Okay.
I'll bring it up and we'll keep going. All right. So let's run the play here. Yeah, so we're talking about this guy right here.
Yes. So he's blitzing.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run into a guard. So I want to I do want JT to kind of hit about this from how what he's telling the guy when he's blitzing. It would be good to hear Marvin Constant too. My thing is, I don't. If you got a blitzing linebacker, you don't want to show it too early. We've kind of talked about this before, and if you do are seen by the guard, you can't go right down the middle of him, or you're gonna get grabbed, and then they're gonna call a hold. I don't think not many times if you just
Nope,
run
not if
straight
you're not
to
if
the
you're right in
dude.
his body like that.
Yeah, so that's one piece. And then he kind of gets thrown out of the hole a little bit, right? Because he's taking on a 300-pounder that right down the middle. I don't know how he can't. I mean, they're strong, and you can have a shock factor.
Yeah, but if you're not running this dude over,
Correct. So he's getting pushed out of the hole. And so then the second piece is the other linebacker that's coming in, right? Now it's creating a bigger gap in here. Now he does a better job if you can take because he actually shocks the heck out of that. Is that the center that came up on him?
yep.
Mm, right. So I mean, he got his hat and hands underneath him, blows him up. But JT, what I would like to see is that is if his I, I think that his eyes don't need to be down the middle of him right he is right now because he can't see the ball
Oh, I got
at
it.
all. Look at JT.
All
All
right,
right.
we're gonna save that though.
Okay. So those are really because the defensive end at the top, he did good because he actually did not run past the ball, felt the pressure. The right tackle tries to throw him up the field, but he retraces, but he runs right back into our
Mm-hmm.
linebacker who's out of his gap. So I think this is a linebacker issue. I'm not saying that they're bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think their eyes need to be uh, in different spots. You agree? Disagree? What else do you see?
Um. Okay. So this is where we disagree just a little bit. And I don't know what the answer is. So I want to go ahead and say that. That's why I wanted to get these diagrams. Um, because there are at least there's probably more than two, but there are two ways that I know how to do run fit rules, and then there's a third way because I've kind of taken that and simplified it for our high schoolers. But when you sent me the text, you said that you thought that the linebacker should actually turn this back inside, which may be true. And the only reason I said I disagreed is because my run fit rules would actually not. He would. This is how. I mean, I still think they could fit this a bit better, but this is where I want the ball to hit out this way and have this guy cleaning it up. So I know you know what I'm talking about, but
I
for our
do.
audience,
Well, go back and I'll tell you why. And it's always healthy when we disagree, right? I mean, we coach some of the same and we do some different things, but I would say that I would bet I put a lot of money down on it that they're telling them turn the ball back to Caleb Downs because
and
he's the one that's not blocked, and
yes,
he's got to go over the top. And that's why I'm saying I'm thinking that he has that B gap,
mm,
and that they are supposed to at least make him bend back this way.
yes,
Further to the
I
sideline.
can
That's where
definitely agree with that. And to help, I'm gonna try to let's see how good am I really with this tool. Try to get us okay. So here is a diagram.
thanks for play.
Thanks to Cody Alexander. Uh, he draws this kind of stuff up all the time. So I just snapped this picture from one of his books on my phone and quickly tried to get it up on the computer. This is this is the run fits that you are talking about, where Caleb Downs is actually this backside safety, and in our diagram, he doesn't actually have to come down like this. He's kind of already sitting here, right? And this is what we call a box technique, because you are trying to build the box and you want the ball to hit a wall here and bounce back this way.
Correct.
And this is where your backside safety or Caleb Downs ends up supposed to be making that play. My defense, as I teach, is more of this. Cody Alexander calls it LSL, which stands for lever, spill, lever, where he is forcing things out. This is actually your spill guy, and then you have, he'll probably call this a lever guy. Lever because he's pushing it out, another lever because he's pushing it back in, and then this guy's supposed to spill to the safety. Now,
I could clarify that is what you would do, but that is not actually how we did it with our defensive end to the left.
Yes, because he ends up crashing. They've got a number 3 in here. Typically, how I try to simplify this, and this is kind of just me talking and trying to educate the audience a little bit, is what we call umbrella principles, and we draw this nice little umbrella on the diagram. And I give this to the kids at the beginning of the season. I don't have all these other arrows. I just line us up and say, here's our umbrella. We want to make sure our umbrella is always intact. If you are under this umbrella, you are a spill player. If you are outside of the umbrella, you're a force player, or in this terminology, lever. I don't really like the term lever, but
contain, back in my day.
Yeah, and I've stopped using contain, because kids these days, you say contain and they say, well, he didn't get outside of me.
Yeah, they don't know what it means.
So I did my job. But it's like, no, I need you to actually do something other than turn it back inside. But anyway, what does spill mean? If you imagine that the offensive line is a table, you want, just like spilled milk, you want it to run off of the table out this way. Because as you've heard me say before, who is our best tackler? The sideline. Never misses a tackle. Never afraid. Doesn't matter. The sideline has tackled Bo Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Eric Dickerson every single time. The sideline never gets run over. So we want everything to come out this way and help and have our safeties fill. All that to say, I prefer this, because you have the extra help out here. And if you miss, I don't like having the one-on-one on the backside. If I don't,
that's a maybe. No, you're right. But if you go back, we're not. I think you're given the alignment we have doesn't necessarily line up to what. Because I agree with you. I love what you're saying, but we would need another safety up top to make happen what you're trying to.
Yes,
get accomplished.
Because they're walking this dude. I don't know if this is Jalen Key or not. I don't know who this is. Walking towards the middle of the field. It looks like they're getting in some kind of 3. They're bringing him into the box.
Now, let me say that the last piece, and it is what the free safety. I'm not know who the free safety, the guy that's back at the 6-yard line right now.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect position right here. And what I would say, he's kind of turned. He's looking. He's reading the run. Right now, he needs to go ahead and trigger.
Yes.
Go to the run. He doesn't. So if you run it back and go again, he takes one extra hop step, and now his angle is.
Yep. Now he's late.
Is bad, and so he can't get there. So as a safety, we're trying to look at uncovered guys. Can we tell if it's run or pass? High hat, low hat. That's run. I mean, right now.
Yeah. So give me another chance to just talk about my keys and how I teach safeties to read, run, or pass. Matthew Cherry says y'all should break down the 007 Gravedigger catch from the Iron Bowl. Matthew Cherry, you need to check out our channel and go back. the Wednesday after that, after Thanksgiving, we did. So we've already done it for you. Go check it out. So I tell these guys, and I know it's all different for everybody. They, some people tell the safeties, hey, look at the offensive tackle, read your tackle. We tell the linebackers, read the guards. I've switched. I've told our safeties, look at the quarterback because he is the most polished guy on the field. And we have very simple rules. Ball up means pass. So if quarterback catches the ball and it goes like this, is pass. Get in your back pedal right now. Ball down, wait. If it stays down, it's run. So looking at Carson Beck here, ball's down, stays down. There at this point, this is before he takes his extra hop step. There is no pass.
Yep, game of inches need to be gone already.
Yeah, Carson Beck is carrying out a run fake. There is no pass here. There's no reason to take that extra step. We gotta go get it. We gotta go get it right now.
All right. Okay, that's a good one. Next play. This is okay. So a lot we could talk about here on this one. This is actually a pass play, disguised as a counter with the pullers with the tight end and I think it's the guard. It's probably the guard. Yeah, it's the guard and the tight end.
Yeah, this is kind of nasty right here.
It is. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool because you got crack blocked by the.
Yeah, especially if you're telling this guy to read number 2 and he's coming in to crack somebody.
So this is a Malachi highlight. Is what I just thought it was outstanding because when you're looking at this offensive play, I don't even know who thought of this or what offensive coordinator, but it's kind of genius, actually, because typically the first guy, the lineman, which is the guard, would come around, try to kick out the end, which he does. The second guy, the puller, which would be the tight end, would normally try to come up on the inside backer. But he runs past that and goes out to the flat. And they're influencing Malachi with the wide receiver, like they're trying to crack block him. So they're trying to get him up the field.
Yeah, they're trying to get him to jump inside on this, seal him, and run that guy off.
Yeah, but what Malachi does is somehow feels his way to get back outside of this wide receiver and cover the tight end and get back into his pass responsibility. So y'all need to see this because this is pretty good. This will be what Coach Williams was talking about when they're watching these films and trying to figure out can this guy play or not? Because that's freaking crazy, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys can enjoy that beauty. So let's talk about the defensive end, right? First, this is kind of what JT was talking about. So this is a good thing to be able to talk about with his umbrella, box,
squeeze, spill this puller. You want the ball. If this was a handoff, you don't want the ball hitting this crease.
That is correct.
You want the ball to go here, bounce out like this, have Malachi set the edge, safety, linebacker scrape, and we're all good.
That's right. So, and those are things you got to work on in repetition because those linemen are looking at things, block downs, and then here come a puller, because he's got a step down, then he got a puller coming, and what does he got to do off of that? So this is pretty interesting. If you look at our linebacker, just getting blocked.
The one that's illegally downfield, by the way.
Yeah. I'm sure they would never call this probably like RPO. I guess he's, 2 yards, 4 yards?
This is 4 yards down the field. He way down the field.
Well, they give the simulation like he's back there like a screen or something. Because he's still behind the line of scrimmage.
I guess that's fair. That is fair. He is 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so there's a lot to this, and I like this, and I don't know, maybe we need to show this from the Granado. I just think it's kind of tricky. I don't know how they could have done any better just because I think Malachi just kind of screwed the whole thing up because he could get blocked.
This is one of those things where it's like you got a good play drawn up. It looks executed pretty well. You probably tell whoever this receiver is. I guess he's number 6.
6.
You tell him, hey, you got to do better. But sometimes your opponent is just better than you are on that play. And you gotta give him some props in order to be able to do something like this and then go make a solo tackle.
I bet they ran the handoff too fast. The fake. I think he probably should have rolled him a tad bit longer because his ball's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Malachi is sniffing it out pretty quick. I mean, I don't know. It's just a hell of a play, bro. It's just a hell of a play. So anyway, another game of inches, just tight things on here. They kind of got us blocked up. You know, he would have had to try to get past Caleb Downs, even if he would have missed. But all right, and I wanted to show this one particularly. Again, it's a foreshadowing of what we might be able to see against Michigan. Right, they're going to run the ball a lot. Again, you need to tune in next week. I'm going to make sure I try to find some film. JT might have to help me work with YouTube because I didn't record any Michigan games, and I don't know if I could actually go watch them in the library or not, or if I just got to get on YouTube and find it somewhere else. But we'll make sure we have some film for you, and I'll try to give you a game plan or a rundown of keys to win the game or how we can lose the game as well. And I know it's going to be around the running game because that's what they're very, very good at. They got a couple of running backs that are pretty solid. So when you're looking at run, this one right here, I don't know how I know it's short yardage, but we got a lot of guys up here like we don't really care. You ain't gonna run the ball, and I think that needs to be the attitude against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, JT?
Make McCarthy beat you.
You just gotta throw it, man. I mean, we got these stud DBs, and we got DBs that can fill on the run like this. And we were talking about this earlier. Just look at the depth from Caleb Downs if you want to circle him where he's coming from. I know he didn't get the credit for the tackle, but he disrupts the whole play from depth. So as he's rolling that, make sure you watch him when he's going down. I'll try not to laugh on what I want to talk about afterwards with this, but that guy's pretty stinking good. Okay, so watch him creep it up a little bit just for a second. He's gone.
He's going right now.
It's fast flow. Yeah, he missed him, but good Lord. Okay, so the other one piece, can you go back a tad bit to the beginning and circle Dallas Turner, stand-up defensive end down here? Yep. You need to watch him, and then you need to watch that guy that's over him just to his right.
The
slot
receiver?
Guy, the receiver. The point man that's on the line of scrimmage. He's trying to block Dallas Turner.
Hey, you ever seen that clip of Ocho Cinco when he tried to hit Ray Lewis?
Yeah. No, I ain't seen it.
And he came up to the sideline and he goes, because he ended up getting hurt. The trainers had to come get him. And he was like, man, I made a mistake. I tried to go in there and crack Ray just because he didn't see me, and he still ran me over.
Hey, man, this dude got jacked up, man. It's Dallas Turner in there, man. It's just, why would you set that dude up like that, man?
I know. That's the one where you got to put Bowers at the
put
the
the
point.
tight end, yeah, something. Just go, I don't know, 21 personnel, something. I don't know, because that was doomed to fail. So I thought that was just another good effort play, and I think we're going to have to see some of that because there are guys flying around. Now, I didn't really judge the technique. Did they just swim everybody? Because it looked like we got people just arm over, and we had a slant to the left, and everybody else just ran to the right. But they kind of gave it away with a toss. It's fast flow, so everybody can go. We're just gonna have to see some of that. That's all I really wanted to get out of that, and we got to have something like that. And so, any other talking points you got on that one?
No.
Sir?
Nope. That's a good play. That's the one to get you hype. I like
Yeah.
that kind of pursuit to football.
It does, man. It does. And we're going to need that on January the 1st when we get ready to play those Michigan Wolverines and try to bring the house down. So I want to go ahead and thank everybody once again for tuning in on both channels, on the Bama Standard and on Teague's Take. And if you are in millions, we do appreciate you for being part of our family, the Teague's Take family. You guys are all Teagsters, and we're going to keep doing this thing. Again, we apologize for not being able to talk that much about recruiting. We will hit that come after the national championship, after we go ahead and win that. So, JT, I think it's been a great one. Always great guest with Coach Williams, giving us some insight on that, a little bit of education there, education with the film, and now we get back to the family life, right? And
Wait, is
and
this
do what
is
we
this
need to
actually
do.
Lamar? He's sitting here. So I saw this earlier. Because he said Lamar Thomas has exited the chat. I thought that was a joke, but Lamar,
I didn't see it.
if that's you, appreciate you hanging around and listening to the show.
We do it. We got to get him back on anyway because I want to hear some of his culture points on the wide receiver. So we do need to
Yeah,
get some
maybe
wide
we can
receiver
get some
clips.
some wide receiver clips, and it don't have to be live. We can record those and get those uploaded.
That's right. That's right. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on both channels, Teague's Take and the Bama Standard. We appreciate everyone over there for giving us the opportunity just to do the simulcast and be a part of that family as well. So we're gonna call it a night, though. I got one more day of school, JT. If you ever drop by JP2 again and you don't come say hello to the athletic director, I'm
But you gonna fire
docking
me?
your check. I'm gonna take a little bit out of that thing. All $50 that you
Hey,
get, I'm taking it.
somebody you need to go and find who stole my backpack with my name and my badge on it.
Oh boy. I ain't. Anyway, no, I'm not because you should have came by. It'd have
It's
been
probably
different.
sitting in your
So,
office. You probably got it.
hey. Okay, next Tuesday, that will be the 27th. I'm gonna be on location again, but we're still gonna have Teague's Take. JT, you still gonna be good for the 27th? Or you
Yeah,
even thought
it's the
about that?
27th. It's not Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Oh, you said
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
just didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Next Tuesday, next Wednesday.
Yeah, no, we get.
Okay, I didn't know if you had something set up with the fam or whatnot because of the holidays, but we're gonna be on the road. But I'm still gonna come in and we're gonna talk about Michigan, all things Rose Bowl. Let's get it done next week. All right, deuces.